Welcome to this restorative yoga class. I'm Keely, and today we're going to focus on a head cradle and how to set up a head cradle. I woke up today with a headache, and rather than reaching directly into the medicine cabinet for a cure, I thought of my restorative yoga tools. For this practice, you're going to need a blanket, a block. This is an eye pillow, so it's a little lightweight. I'll show you how to use that later. And otherwise, I'm going to work today with a 10-pound weight, and you might not have that at home. A bag of flour wrapped in a cloth could be something you could use as an alternative, or even a pretty lofty book. Remember the old days when we actually had physical encyclopedias in our home? I hope I didn't lose anybody with that. So a weight, block, blanket, or a towel. And the first thing I'm going to pick up is another great tool that I often use in restorative yoga practice. This is a cotton pad, and in the center I have placed a drop of peppermint essential oil. So before I even talk more about that, make sure, right, if you're using essential oils in this way, that you don't, put your hand on the oil and then rub your eyes. And make sure that you're really holding on to the pad on the outside edge and not touching the oil itself. Just a note, if ever you do get an essential oil in your eye, you want to flush it out with a really kind of thick oil like olive oil or any sesame oil, not with water. That will exacerbate the sting. So flush your eye out with a cooking oil or an almond oil, something like that, if you do get essential oil in your eye. But now on to the good stuff. So the first thing, and this is really, really effective for taming headaches, is just to gently bring the essential oil close to your nose, and you kind of experiment a little bit with where you need to place the oil in front of your face so that you're not reaching or grasping, but you're really just allowing yourself to receive the fragrance of the refreshing and clarifying, clearing peppermint oil. Peppermint, really great for pain, for nausea, for dizziness, and also, just for, again, creating maybe a fresh energy, energizing. So just taking a few moments, and maybe you don't have peppermint oil, you could use a lemon or a lime or anything you have to hand that smells good to you. And just take a moment just to breathe in and out. Ordinary breath. I can already feel that sort of cloud in the front of my head dispersing. So we'll set that aside for now. We'll come back to it and work with the props. So first of all, you'll take your blanket or your towel, and we're going to take the smooth edge and roll it. This is going to be a little neck cradle. So I'm going to place that, firm it down, and I've got a nice roll that's going to support my neck. Then I'm going to take my block and place it about here. We'll see, I might have to move it in, and then have my weight handy. You come to lie down on your back, and it's up to you. You can definitely keep your knees bent or extend your legs down your space or your mat. Place the neck roll under the cervical spine. And I'm going to have to like dial this down a notch because it's actually a little too intense. You really want there to be a little bit of space. That's going to be better. A little bit of space for the neck bones to kind of release, right? We can probably all relate to that headache, headachy feeling moving not just through the head, but through the neck and shoulders too. Shoulders, speaking of shoulders, are on the ground. I'm going to extend my legs. And really, you know, this is a pretty good version of events, or a way to kind of address a headache, even without the kind of next add-on. So then take your hands and just kind of smooth out a little bit the skin on your forehead. And notice that right in the center of your brow, in yoga we think of it as the third eye, there's a kind of soft spot or a little kind of dent right in the middle of your forehead, right above the bridge of the nose and a finger or two down from your hairline. And right there, so that space physically is called the glabella. And we're going to work with that space here. The glabella is also a place where maybe we think our ego resides, or our sense of our surface self, the awareness of our surface self. You're just kind of playing with that spot for a moment. And then grab a hold of your block and place it right at the crown of your head. And it's perpendicular to your spine, right? And then I'm going to pick up my weight. And again, maybe you're working with something else, but something that's, really kind of feels like it's a fact. And then I'm going to place it on the block, make sure it's evenly distributed, and pull the weight down, already feeling good, people, onto my eyebrows, making sure again that I'm kind of letting that glabella spot smooth out. It's not pinched at all. And again, if you wanted to add in, your peppermint oil, you could do that. Lay your arms down by your hips. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, do that. And otherwise, just really allow the gaze to move down the line of your nose and towards the earth. Make sure that the weight feels pretty even from side to side, right? There's not more weight pouring through the right side of your head or the left side. You can stay in this restorative yoga pose for maybe 5 minutes. If at any point, the weight feels like it's too much pressure, you can certainly move it off. You could also, and that's why, if I can find it, here it is, you could swap out, let's just show you that, the weight, that 10-pound weight or that more hefty weight, for something like an eye pillow, and just use that. Again, on the brow, not the eyes, right at the eyebrow, smoothing out the forehead, the skin on the forehead, and the glabella moving towards the temples as well as down towards the bridge of the nose. And that feels pretty dreamy as well. I'm going to go back to the weight, seeing as I have the luxury of having having these props available right now. What headache? So this head cradle setup is also really a great tool for taming anxiety, and the kind of anxiety that you feel when it's really just up in your head, when the thoughts are just a tumult, right? Just a barrage of thoughts. So you might experiment at those times when you're feeling a little anxious in your head with this setup. And as you breathe in, there's an invitation for the energy of the brain to drop. And as you breathe out, you're creating space for the energy of the heart to rise. So you're moving out of your head space and into the heart space. And let's just be in this beautiful, right, simple, beautiful, restorative pose together for maybe another minute or so. Brain drops, heart lifts. When you're ready to come out of the pose, let your breath in be a little fuller. Your breath out be longer. You can move the weight off of your head. Step your feet back one at a time. And then curl over onto your right side. Stay close to the ground. Still aware of that fragrance lifting. And then use your arms pressing into the ground to come up to sit. So I hope that you find this head cradle setup really helpful. And remember, if you get a little headache or you're feeling a little, caught up in the thinking, try this and see how it affects your mind, your body, and spirit. And I'll see you next time.